Hello, this is Relationship Talk with Courage, and I'm here to, share a few tips with us today concerning relationship and marriage. For some of you who have been following previous videos, you're going to agree with me that we'll be dishing out a lot of points, a lot of tips that can actually help us in our relationship and even in marriage. Like I always say, when you are successful in a relationship and you're able to have your way into marriage, there's every possibility that you will be able to succeed if you are able to still put those knowledge in place, those things you did in relationship that made you successful in relationship. You're able to put them in place also. There's every possibility that you're going to have a wonderful marriage as well. You know why? Because a lot of times people believe that marriage is way different from relationship, but when you really take a closer look at it, there is nothing that really changed after your relationship or after courtship with your spouse. Nothing really changed because the individuals involved are still the same. The understanding they have about life is still the same. The knowledge, the love, and everything is still the same. Nothing changed. The only thing that changed is that you moved from the phase of courtship into marriage, and now when you are able to continue those things you did in your relationship, there's every possibility that you are also going to succeed in marriage. Relationship, when it comes to relationship, I would say when it comes to courtship, it is a time for you to understand your spouse, properly know their likes, know their dislikes, know who they are, know their personality, know what they can what they can do, know their beliefs, know so much about them. And the truth is, that same person you studied in the time of courtship has not changed. The person is still the same. That is why I believe strongly that when you are able to succeed in courtship, there's every possibility for you to also succeed in your marriage. Now that brings me down to today's topic. I am talking on communication in relationship. All right, now first of all, before I start talking about the things I want to say concerning communication in relationship, I want us to understand that just the way blood is to the human body, so also communication is to every relationship. I take that again. Just the way blood is important to the human body, same way communication is important to every relationship. It is a lifeline of every relationship. The truth is, if you are able to have a healthy communication in your relationship, it's going to help you tackle a lot of problems, going to help you handle a lot of challenges, because you communicate with your spouse. Your spouse understand how you feel. Your spouse know exactly what is going on with you. No assumptions. The truth is, if you're able to have a healthy relationship with your spouse, you're going to have a smooth relationship, a smooth ride, and a smooth journey. So now, what is communication? Communication is allows you to express yourself. Communication is a process that allows you to come all out, to express yourself, to explain yourself, explain exactly what is going on with you, what is going on in your mind, what you're going through. It allows you to open up. Yes, it allows you to open up to your spouse or to anyone you're in a relationship with, and when you do that, it gives the other person you are communicating with the privilege to be able to understand you, know who you are, know how you feel, and also know how you want to be treated. That is it. So when you are able to communicate with anyone you're in a relationship with or your spouse, the truth is you're going to have a smooth relationship. Now, but for you to have an effective relationship, a communication, sorry about me using relationship word all the time. So for you to be able to have a wonderful communication, a meaningful communication and a productive communication with the spouse, there are a few things you should also look at, for your communication to be healthy and meaningful. Because when you don't communicate properly, sometimes communication can lead to several problems in relationship. I'm going to look at number one, what are those things we should put in place for us to have an effective communication with our spouse, or to have to be able to have an effective communication in relationship. Number one is know the right time to communicate something to your spouse. Know the right time to communicate something to your spouse. I'm going to give an example. An example here is you are married, you are a wife, and your husband has been out all day, and there is something that happened, and you are eager, you are in a hurry, you really can't hold back, and you want to talk about it, especially when it's not a news that is exciting. Maybe you are not happy. It's something that can trigger anger, and you are unable to hold back until you study the atmosphere, study the mood of the spouse to know when you are you're supposed to break this news, or you're supposed to talk about this thing that is bothering you. If you don't know the right time to communicate to your spouse, you don't know the right time to talk to your spouse about something, the truth is it's going to lead into several other challenges in the relationship. That is number one. Now, number two is choose your words. Choose your words. Choose your words. There are people, when they're about to talk about something, you want to bring something before your spouse, you go ahead to start judging. You start bringing up issues, and you're dancing around the point, around what you're about to say. You're not going straight, you're not direct with what you're about to say. Choose your words. Know the right words to use. There are words that you use from the beginning that will cut off the attention of the person you are trying to communicate with, because you didn't start on a proper note. The person will not be willing to listen to you properly. So there are some words that you should not use when you want to engage in an effective, or you want to engage in a productive communication. Do you understand? So you don't use certain words that will make the person you're talking to lose interest in what you're about to say. That is number 2 point. All right, now the third one is be close. Come close to that person. If you're talking to your spouse physically, come close. Don't distance yourself. Come close to the person you're talking to. When you come close, you are able to actually gain the attention of your spouse. You're able to gain the attention of your spouse. Come close and be warm and take attention when you're about to discuss something very important with your spouse. Come close. Let it be a quiet environment, where you'll be able to get all of your spouse attention. Why should you put these things in place? It's all for you to be able to have a productive communication, and if it is something that is important you want to discuss, this will also help you to reach to a level of agreement, and you'll be able to achieve the reason you in the first place started that conversation with your spouse. Now that is the third one, and the fourth one is your tune. Your tune, that is I would say the tone of your voice. Sometimes when you don't, you might mean well, but when you don't check your tone, it can affect your discussion. It can affect your communication with your spouse. And probably you are not angry. You mean well, but your tone of voice can send a different message to your spouse. All right, and that can cut off the attention of your spouse, and your spouse will not be able to give you all the full attention, or will not be able to listen to what you are about to say. That's the tone of your voice. Now check out the tone of your voice before you go into any serious communication with your spouse. That is the fourth one. And finally, the fifth one is appreciation. Now there are people that when they're about to say something, they're about to discuss an important issue with their spouse, there's a way, there is something I believe, and something I also understand. When people who stay around the king, when they're about to talk to the king, what the first thing they do is they appreciate the king. They praise the king. They start to remind the king of how good they are, how strong they are. They find a way to wet the floor, prepare the floor, prepare the ground before they start to talk about what they want to talk about, especially when you know that is something you want this person to do for you. There's a way your way of approach will determine if you will be able to get something meaningful out of that conversation or communication. Now, appreciation is very important. Before you start to talk about anything with your spouse, it is good you appreciate them. Let them know how important they are to you. Let them know how blessed you are to have let me use the word, let me be direct. Let your spouse know how blessed you are to have him or her in your life. A lot of things you can bring up, a lot of things you can talk about, and after appreciation, now you can go into what you want to say for real. These things I just mentioned now will help you to have a healthy communication with your spouse. So communication, like I already said, is the process that allows you to explain yourself, to express yourself, and to make your spouse understand you properly and also understand how you feel, all right, and what is going on in your mind. So like the normal saying goes, assumption is the lowest level of knowledge. So don't assume your spouse understands. Don't assume the person you're in a relationship understands you. The truth is, communication is key. Like I already said, that communication is the lifeline of any relationship. Just like blood is important to the human body, so is communication to every relationship or every marriage. So in a relationship where there is effective communication, things will always go well and there won't be too much misunderstanding. The truth is, in relationships you cannot avoid misunderstanding, but when there is proper communication, you're going to be able to trash out so many issues because there is a high level of understanding, and the journey will be smooth and your relationship will be smooth, your marriage will be smooth. So communication is a very important part of every relationship. This is just going to be part 1 of communication in relationship. My next video is going to be on the relationship as well, but part 2 of relationship in communication in marriage or in relationship. So this is Relationship Talk with Courage. Thank you for staying up to this time to watch this video. If you stayed all up until now to watch this video, I would like you to subscribe to my channel here and put on your notification bell so you can always get more of our videos. And as well, do well to share this video because you're going to be able to help a lot of people out there who have troubled relationships or troubled marriage. The reason for this page or for this channel is because we want to be able to save troubled relationships and troubled marriage. Also, if you have any question on relationship or marriage, you can send a message to our email address. You can drop a comment below the video and I will be right here to respond to you. All right, have a great time and bye for now.